like to call to order the Plan Commission meeting for June 4th, 2024 at 6:02 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Attendance roll call.
Commissioner Groff.
Here.
Commissioner Oliver.
Here.
Alderman Kubaki.
Here.
Commissioner Cieslak.
Here.
Commissioner Buckmaster's absent. Commissioner Bartlett's absent. Mayor Pawlowski.
Here.
And Planner Chair Zbitowski's not here, but I'm sitting in.
All right, we have a quorum. Statement of public notice.
The agenda was posted and distributed to all news media requesting notification in accordance with the open meeting laws on Friday, May 30th.
Thank you. Approval of Approval of minutes from the April 16th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Consent business, Resolution PC 032-2024, approval of the sale of fireworks for TNT Fireworks at Walmart located on Moreland Road, tax key number 2169999003. Resolution 033-2024, approval of sale of fireworks for TNT Fireworks at Pick and Save located on Janesville Road, tax key number 2199999065. And Resolution PC 036-2024, approval of the sale of more fireworks for Freedom Fireworks at the Bossy Farm located on Janesville Road, tax key number 2172999.
Move to approve with Gross.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. There is no old business for consideration. New business for consideration. Resolution PC 034-2024, approval of a building site and operation plan amendment for Tipsy Turtle located at South 90 West 13970 Boxhorn Drive, tax key number 22549980002.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Karen.
Okay, Tipsy Turtle already has an outdoor seating area, and tonight they're looking for approval to expand that seating area on the west side of the building. The new outdoor patio area will be approximately 3,100 square feet. And due to the topography on the property, there will be a retaining wall on the west side of the concrete seating area. And then on top of this, the concrete seating area will be pillars with a black metal fence between the pillars. And then the retaining wall would be a 5'3" at its tallest point. So then on top of the pillars, there's 6 of them. So every other pillar will have a light fixture affixed to the top of it. With frosted glass. In the past, the Plan Commission's been okay with etched or tinted glass on these outdoor lights so that the light source is still concealed. And then closer to the bar, there's going to be the building, there's going to be an outdoor bar constructed with the same block that matches the retaining wall with a cover on it. And then towards the back side of the building, there's going to be a fence panel or a 6-foot PVC fencing panel, 6 feet tall, to screen like a waitress stand and anything else that would be behind the bar. The only issue that we saw was that the concrete area has to be 3 feet from the property line. In their drawing, it's closer than that, but just a minor modification when they come in and get a zoning permit, just so they're 3 feet away with the concrete from the property line. Otherwise, we're recommending approval as just an expanded outdoor seating area for the bar.
Any comments or questions from any of the commissioners?
Renderings look nice.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Resolution PC 035, 2024, approval of the sale of fireworks for Freedom Fireworks at Lake Point Church located at South 63 West 13694 Janesville Road, tax key number 2162997001.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Discussion. Aaron.
This is very similar to the other fireworks stands that were already approved. Freedom Fireworks will already be operating at the Piggly Wiggly Muskego Center as well as by the Bossy Farm, but this one we didn't put on consent because it is a new location, Lake Point Church. It would be set up the same with a 30 by 60 tent, 2 of these small storage containers for security when the operations are not, or when they're closed. 2 signs on the shipping containers. Everything else is all the same with permission to use the restrooms and a barrier between the drive, between vehicles and customers at the tent. So we're recommending approval. As this, like I said, this is very similar to every other operation that is being run.
Any questions or comments from any of the commissioners? What's the point of the rubber mat?
Cover the electrical.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Makes sense. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Resolution PC 037, 2024, approval of a building site and operation plan for water booster structure located at the future Kirkland Crossing subdivision, tax key number 22769999003.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion. Aaron.
Okay, this is a structure 13 and a half feet by 37 and a half feet in size. When they did the water system analysis, it was found that a water booster station would be needed to meet the system fire flow and pressure requirements for the new subdivisions. So this booster station ultimately would be, it's similar to every other utility extension where the developer pays to put it in, and then it would become property of the city once the subdivision is complete and moving forward. So a structure low maintenance would be most desirable. The structure would be a prefabricated brick building with a standing seam metal roof, light brown colors on the structure with a darker brown metal roof. There is a brick band, so it's not just a plain building. The site, there's been 8 arborvitae trees located on the plans. However, there is an additional HVAC unit or an electrical transformer site and an HVAC unit on the end of the building. We're just asking that these be densely screened at the time of planting, as well as any other mechanicals that would be on site, similar to any other non-residential development. Like I said, this is just for that future subdivision. It's being put in, because of that, but yeah, we're just recommending approval. Is a low maintenance building for the city.
Any questions?
Where is it exactly located? I saw I think early in the project description, a layout, but I'd be honest with you, it looked like a contour, but I had a hard time understanding where that was. As compared to the kind of the 30,000 foot level diagram in page 59.
Well, that, it's just.
So here's
East
the
Avenue.
development, yeah.
East Avenue is right here, and then the entrance is just a little bit east of that. So it'd be just east of that.
Is it
East Avenue.
coming right off of Martin, or is it?
They're typically right off the main road coming in.
It is, okay, okay. All right,
Because that's where the water pipe's coming in and it's got to boost it. So,
Yeah, push it to the rest of the,
right.
okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Resolution PC 038, 2024, for approval of building site and operation plan amendment for Mark Knutson of Pop's Pub located at West 180 South 7808 Pioneer Drive, tax key number 2196980001.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Aaron.
Hang on 1 second. Okay, Mark is looking to illuminate those volleyball courts. So he's looking to put in a single pole on the east side of the volleyball courts, kind of where between the two courts, with a horizontal arm on top and one light directed towards each court. And the pole would be 24 feet in height. And as you recall, typical outdoor lighting for commercial locations, you're limited to 15 feet or the eve of the building. However, our code includes a section for exterior lighting for certain specified outdoor recreation uses. And again, there's performance standards on lights, being that they're all full cutoff, 0-degree tilt, that they meet 0.5 foot candles at the property lines, and everything else. But this, if allowed, if approved by the Plan Commission, these performance standards can be waived if they meet certain criteria. And then the criteria is they have to meet everything else on the BSO, and this is the only thing being asked for. It can't be higher than 50 feet in height, and this is going to be 24 feet in height. And a lighting plan was submitted, which it has been. And then the last part is that the total cutoff angle can exceed 90 degrees if the Plan Commission deems that okay. So the two lights on the single pole would be adjustable, but they would be aimed at one light at each court. There is we try to include the beam angles and cutoff angle examples in the supplement. The beam angle is more of the intensity of where the light is focused, whereas the cutoff angle is where the fixture, the light source would be visible from. So with a full cutoff light would be anything taller than that, it would be full cutoff. You wouldn't be able to see the light source. Now, if we tip that light fixture up, that full cutoff angle increases, so it'd be more than 90 degrees. It wouldn't be a full cutoff angle anymore. This was one of the concerns that we had, in that there's residences to the north, to the south, and to the west of this property. Also, when you're aiming that light, if you're increasing that cutoff angle one direction, you're ultimately decreasing it on the backside, which in this case would appear to help out with the residents that are immediately to the east of this property. The photometric plan was submitted. It does show that there's light levels greater than 0.5 foot candles, which is a requirement, to the north, at the north property line. This property is owned by the petitioner also, but it's not been approved for any commercial use or any other non-residential use. So that is a residential property, along with the continuing neighbors to the north. So as I said, there's a few concerns. First is that these light fixtures are not fixed at a particular angle, and it appears as though the photometrics, with the photometric plan, that the light spill over to the north property line would exceed the 0.5 foot candles on that residential property. And then secondly, with the tilting of the fixture, that even though the beam angle would be focused on the court, the light spill and the fixture would be visible to properties to the north, west, and south, as previously mentioned. So we're looking for a Plan Commission discussion and whether they believe the performance standards should be waived for these light light fixtures on the volleyball court.
All right, thank you. I know the alderman from the district wants to say something as well. Do we want to listen to him first, or do we want to just start discussion?
Sure.
Jake? Alderman Schwer?
Hey everyone, Jake Schwer, Alderman District 4. When this came to Plan Commission, I had a few residents reach out to me. Previously, they reached out to me just with noise concerns. Granted, Mark has all the proper permits to operate outside, so he's not doing anything. But the lights, they raised concern to these residents because they're basically just afraid it could add additional noise or shed into their homes or backyards. If this were allowed, the concession that would be wanting made is extra screening, just to help give the residents privacy, try to dampen any noise and keep any light out possible. I know, Mark, we chatted last night. He's had issues with setbacks and things like that, trying to basically get screening approved. So if this were to be approved, I guess I would encourage the commission to look into additional screening to help those residents around those courts and just help the business and the residents coexist. So, thank you.
Mark, do you want to clarify what your screening issues were in the past that you said that at the microphone?
Just a lot of the screening issues when we come up to that is you have a 6-foot variance. So what's 6 feet going to do when it comes to the sound? As a 6-foot male, you're sitting on a court and you're having that whole thing. We're always looking for the added variance to it. So how high do we really want to go? Making sure that we're respectful of everybody that's within the facility and around. I'm looking for suggestions mostly to make sure that they're all feeling comfortable and that we're getting some kind of a essentially sound barrier, but I don't really know exactly how to go about it just because there are so many different variances with the 6 foot. You can go for 8 foot, 10 foot. What does the city really want us to do? Because what I'm really trying to get down to is with the limited amount of money that I can do to invest in something like this, I want to do it one time and make sure that it's done the right way so that at the end of the day, everybody is happy with it, including all of our surrounding places, essentially, so that we're just doing it one time and not doing it in multiples. It's kind of been one reason why we paused on doing any kind of lighting at the volleyball right now, because ultimately what we're talking about with the volleyball, Thursday night from 6 until 9:30. It's 3.5 hours out of the entire work week and whatnot. So I just want to be cognizant of that. That's kind of where we're at. And I just want to make sure if I'm going to invest quite literally tens of thousands of dollars into a barrier, that barrier is going to meet the code. We're all good to go, and all of our constituents on the other side and everything like that are happy with it, essentially.
So when you're talking the 6 foot, you're talking height versus
6 foot
offset?
fence, and then if you're going to go with also even height wise, like we've talked about it as well, and this is a business thing, not necessarily yours, but just so you guys understand where my head's at, it's not hundreds of dollars. This is thousands of dollars. If you want me to go on and do something where it could potentially have like a screened version of it, sometimes we do have to go with sponsors. We do have to go with other people that are able to put some money towards it, but I can't do any kind of advertisement on there.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't see that changing though.
And I don't see that changing, but also then why does Park Arthur get to do advertising?
Because we're the government.
I understand. So you understand where I'm coming from with, I get it, but I also have to ask for, is that something that I could bring to the BSO and say, hey, specifically, like, great, I've got a, let's call Beechwood or something like that. I've got a distributor that will pay for the screening, that will make our residents a better space and make sure that they have a screen variance. But also I need to take what they'll give me, which is their advertising on a screen.
Sure.
So the same way that the government, gets sponsorships from myself as well as a lot of other local businesses, I need to do that as well and leverage what we do at our facility, which is selling alcohol or enjoying the games and stuff of that sort. And those are the kind of things that we would like to leverage. But right now we're kind of hands tied.
Mm-hmm.
What have you considered so far, or have you, what are your options? And I'm no sound expert or, screening expert, but what have you thrown ideas up against?
So a couple of things that we kind of run into, and we've talked about this too. If you look on the north side of the residential property, which is a residential property, and we're looking, so that we're all on the same page too, we're looking to take down the home and we're looking to put in a larger parking lot. Totally different issue down the line, and combine those entire lots so that it is one single lot. That's kind of one of our big ones. But also I have trees there that are ash trees that are looking like they're going to fall on people, but I'm not allowed to touch them because I have to come to the approval to make sure that those trees can come down. Is that correct?
Is that taking a
If they're
tree?
dead or dying or diseased, you can take them down. But otherwise, on a commercial property, normally, it's a site change, which would need a BSO.
It's a minor issue.
Is it a minor issue that has to come to this specific space? Because if it's a minor issue that has to come to this specific space, now you're looking at me to wait until August to bring down any kind of trees, potentially satisfy something that the residents would like next door. So it kind of comes down to like, my hands are tied up until we can kind of bring it to it. I'm not going to present something to you guys that isn't fully thought out. I'd rather not, because of how much time this takes away from everything. I want to make sure that, just like you said, what's a good recommendation?
So what trees are you talking about?
Right up on the northeast corner, there's quite a few trees there. Also, being part of HOA, I live in the Kristen Downs, but there are several trees all the way along that HOA. If you go back there, you can see definitely what's dead and or needs to go. We talked about potentially taking the brush down. I had somebody that was going to come through and try and get some of the brush out. Stop that right away because of what we kind of had when it came to a discussion about what are we going to do with the what do you do with the fence? What's the best thing to do? And right now, we kind of, and you alluded to, which I agree with, leave the brush. Right now, it's actually a good noise bearing kind of thing. So until I can put a complete plan together, I don't know what to do because although it's a recommendation, there are still restrictions that I have to be within. And when it comes to monetarily, I want to respect our neighbors, but I also can't pay for this twice.
So when do you want, what's your time frame on all this?
What's my time frame on all of?
Well, you have a lighting plan in front of us right now.
Yep.
Well, we start with that. What's your time frame? When would you want to have that done by?
Upon approval,
Yeah.
we'll dig the hole tomorrow.
Okay, upon approval. All right. What about the screening plan? So what I'm getting at, instead of having you have to pay for a new submittal to the plan commission, we could defer this and you come back to the next meeting with all of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to do that, only because once you defer, it comes down to now I've got to go get a landscaping plan. And I've talked with like Legacy Landscaping, and they can do that, but now I also need to get a site plan. If I'm going to combo those lots, now I need to get a surveyor out, and we know how fast those operations are currently happening. And right now, my biggest thing is to make sure that we do have lighting for our volleyball. 2 reasons: 1, safety, and 2, just for the actual experience of it.
The way I read the packet, though, is that we already know that there's some lighting influence that's going to happen of the neighbors. So it appears to me that this, we have lighting on the table today, but it appears that some consideration needs to be made for a deviation for how the lighting is going to be fixed and angles and cut off. So I'll be honest with you, I see screening to be a mate to the lighting.
Screening for what property?
Screen, well, in the way I understand it, Alderman, is that it's to the east. So I look at that first. Your consideration for taking the house down, that's downstream.
But I would also argue with you that the reason why I'm putting it on the east side of the property is that the lights are directed directly west. So they're actually not going to have a
Totally
massive
understand.
influence on there.
Totally
And that's one reason too, because the other option that is, and I can definitely do this, is we can go back to the drawing board. We could bring lights in, and now I'm going to be putting 6 lights in, and all 6 of those are going to be directly downwards, and they're going to be facing to our west. So what I'm trying to do is be as considerate as I can, knowing that we are the direct to the west, own up north, and I own the home actually in the bottom corner as well.
So 6 lights straight down with no influence to the neighbors? Forget the north.
Yeah.
Yeah. No influence
Plus
to the
another
neighbors?
$30,000, and that's another reason why.
So it's a cost. It's a cost.
Absolutely, it's a cost, yeah. And we're talking about 3 hours,
Understood.
yeah. And that's why $30,000 for the 3 hours, it's at some point, do I even have volleyball courts?
How could these lights be shielded to maintain a lesser of a spillover to the east and to, well, and also to your rental property?
I think what Aaron was talking specifically about is they're not necessarily shielded, they need to be more directed. So it's going to be something of an influence of where they're actually directed, because you can direct them further down so that they're not as far protruding when it comes out. And I don't know, it's a 0.05 candlelight. I'm not sure how far that 0.05 lasts. I know that we did a pretty good job with the LEDs, but if you were to go down, because we really wanted to make sure, I don't know how far past that outlet it actually went.
One of the things I have a question on is, so you have volleyball courts, is it, on the survey, they're kind of in the the southeast corner, but where are they in reality? Because it looks like the photometrics are more up by that little shed that you have in the middle of the property.
That's exactly where the volleyball courts are. They're pretty much just east of the sheds.
Okay,
And that's a little tiki bar there.
okay, gotcha. So the volleyball courts are more in the northeast corner than they are.
With this, yes. Without the combined lots, no. I mean, it'll be more in the center of the subject property, because the red lines, it's absolutely dead northeast. And of course, when it comes down to combining the lots, it hasn't happened yet. Again, waiting for kind of what's going to happen here. And that top property, the one that's just north of it, that would be part of the pub property. So when it
Okay.
comes to it, I mean, we're going to be the closest ones. And then Phil, just up on top there, we've talked with them significantly. They don't want to see a 10-foot variance fence. So that's where we're kind of wondering, like, okay, we want a 6-foot fence for them, just to be respectful for that. And then we're most likely going to be having to do some arborvitaes or something larger against that tree line in the future. But again, I'll pay $150 for that in the future, because I can't pay $50,000 for it right now.
And I totally understand that you own the property to the north, and your ultimate goal is to combine them together. But, we're kind of at a point right now where it's a separate property, and there's a lot of light spilling out into that property right now. What happens if your plans change and either you rent or you sell? Is it, the person that's going to buy that is going to have a lot of light in their yard? That's
So I
kind of my
guess
concern.
maybe with a quick claim, because quick claims can happen, I can have this whole thing done tomorrow if you'd like. But you could essentially tailor it to that property needs to be part of your property before you do anything. Just a suggestion for possible
Sure.
workaround.
Do you see any other, so far you just have the one night for 3 hours. Do you see it expanding in the future?
Depends on if the sun keeps kind of going. It's one of those parts of, like, we don't even turn the lights on by July. You don't need them until 9:30. The only reason that we have them is ultimately for basically like the next month or so.
Yeah. And nothing on the weekends you see them.
I mean, I can't say nothing on the weekends. Do I see? My mind goes, you can do a lot of different things. Are we meant to be doing volleyball tournaments till the end of the night? No. I'm a respectful, I believe, pretty respectful business owner when it comes down to our operations. We're dead set 9:30. We're closed out at. Our people know around us if we're going to be doing any bands or anything like that. And I know our alderman had a couple of complaints on that. And I just asked them more for specifics, because if it's something that I know about, it's something that I can change. If it's not something that I know about, my hands are tied, because I can't. If it's, hey, you're too loud. All right, what night? What's going on? Can I try and change some things up?
Oh, why are the volleyball courts where they're at? Were they there first, or is the tiki bar first?
Yeah, we bought this about 3 years ago, so I couldn't.
As is.
As is, yes,
I
sir.
believe
Is
the
it
courts-
tiki-
the courts were there first.
Is the tiki bar, it's probably has power, obviously.
Yes.
Any other services to it?
No.
What if you moved the tiki bar to the west and moved the courts to the west as well? And if you did that, would you have the ability to leave, Aaron talked about the lighting angle and spill. Would you be able to do that and positively affect a positive change to the neighbors? Because it's sand in a hole as compared to a bunch of power services.
I might not be understanding it totally. So you're asking to move the volleyball courts to the west
To the west,
and then move the tiki bar to
the west. You obviously want
condense
some.
everything kind of towards the actual.
Yeah, you've got a green
itself.
space there, and I've been
Okay.
over there enough. I've seen that. There's some reasonable distance.
Future
But
thought process is the reason why we bought the property to the north is so that we can actually expand the pub itself. I do believe that, one, we don't have ADA bathrooms, and we have a lot of things that we need to make sure happen so that that pub is conducive for all age groups.
Right.
And it's something that's going to be a pretty heavy take on. So when we do, and my hope is in the next couple of years, present to you guys an entire remodel of that specific property, I don't think that would fit within that remodel.
All right, but my point is, if you move the tiki bar and the courts to the west, and I can't answer this, but do you then minimize the need or the effectiveness of screening? So your total cost may drop if, and I can't speak to engineering here, but you have the ability to widen the gap because you're pretty close to the property lines right
The
now.
only thing that I would say is, and I don't know, Aaron, if you can bring up the actual current aerial view of that space. Because the current view of that aerial space, we actually expanded last year around the tiki bar
Yeah, we only got the
in a
picture
pretty
there.
large area. So we're actually going to be taking that entire piece out. So,
I'm not sure if I followed it. But
so
go ahead.
the tiki bar itself is now surrounded in a landscaped space that we just did.
Oh,
including
you're right.
walls, just
You're
kind of
right.
like Tipsy Turtle did,
Yeah,
or is
yeah,
going to do. We just did that last year, and this picture just doesn't depict that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving the volleyball courts probably wouldn't be a very good financial decision on my part.
Okay.
But understood though for the screening. It could be, what kind of trees do you want there? What are some of the noise inhibiting trees? I know that we've got to have 5 feet off. Maybe we do an actual wall closer to the property line, as close as we can. I don't know, is 3 feet it or is 5 feet?
For landscaping,
Yeah, if we were to put on a fence, how close can we get to that property line on
Right,
the east
right.
side?
You go
Right next
on,
to the
you
property line.
go right, almost right on it.
So if we were to go right on it and actually take that thing out, it might be an opportunity for us to actually clear that entire forest area. You don't want to do a ton of it, but if we were to put larger arborvitaes up there or something like that, that might be something that would inhibit kind of the sound. Because I think the sound is really going to be the biggest one, especially if our lights, we're of a hard turn off by 9:30. So my hope is that there's not a lot of light pollution anywhere after 9:30.
So just to be clear, you'd be amenable to us amending the motion to requiring a 6-foot high fence along the property line?
Right now, no. I would like it passed as is so that we can get it. And if not passed as is, then we'll see you next year kind of thing. Because by the time that this whole thing will go through, I'll see you back in August. August, it's already going to be pretty late within the season so that the sun's already up. And it's not necessarily something that we need to invest money in until, down the line.
one other thing in the resolution is having a 3-month review after the date of the lighting install, to make sure that there's any concerns by plan commission or residents can be addressed or, modify the lighting plan.
So we could do that. I'm not sure what the other commissioners think about that. So essentially you'd be getting, a trial run with the risk of either you do this at the end of, before next season, or you invested in lights that you won't be able to use in the future. So what are your thoughts? If, I don't know what the commissioners think of that, but before we even ask them, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are with making sure that the space that we're currently developing at the pub is the best, not only just for what we're trying to do, but for our neighborhood.
That's not a yes or a no.
It's up to you. This is government, right?
Alderman, what are your thoughts?
I think the reviews of fair thing, just if we start. I think the review, I actually did see that in there, and I liked it because it allows the residents, if there is a issue, granted, they're gonna have an issue with that, I feel like. And it's not fair to you because you're gonna put this up, invest, and then, like, are we gonna say, like, how many do residents have to sign a petition or something like that, or is it one complaint and it's done?
That's what we pay you the big bucks to decide. You're going to represent them.
And honestly, I'll probably honestly tell you, you most likely probably will get a complaint. And then if you have to shut down the lights, it's a lost cost to you, which isn't fair. But then if you have to shut down, you come back with some sort of screening, or I think that's what we're getting at, is there a screening, like everybody's that you could put in now to lessen it? Because I think fence is going to be probably a lot more than landscaping. So I just
right now, get the 3-month period.
don't know.
Yeah, but there are ways to control the lights. I mean, can't we focus on just controlling the lights to direct the lights and reduce some of the light spillover?
Yeah, can we,
That's the photometrics currently. I mean,
yeah, can we change the light so it's not, instead of being kind of more of a spotlight, it's actually like a light designated for, you know, a recreational type use?
if you're going to do that, and I guess the big one is the question of if we're going to do a 3-month plan review, the less that I have to put into it, the more when it comes to monetary. Because if you're going to do this the absolute right way, I mean, in my honest opinion, you're going to have 2 lights, one for each court. And now you're doubling the whole thing, and that's going to give you a 90-degree angle as compared to what I'm proposing, which is a outward angle that's going to cover 2 lights. If anything, you'd have them where it's center, and then it would be straight down. That would be something that we could do.
Right, the 90-degree cutoff would kind of help that light pollution, especially like from Pioneer, where those spotlights, you're going to see that glare a lot from Pioneer and from the south, you know, because there's nothing cutting those lights off at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, possibly change the lighting to 2, you know, on that court, 1 on each court. If you are going to invest further in your property and kind of incorporate the north property and the one on the southwest corner, that could be, you know, that infrastructure can remain. Is that an option?
With the lighting options you've looked at, you know, these are both aerial view lighting. Is there any elevation lighting that could be put in there versus aerial, instead of putting long, tall poles up?
For the type of sport, I would probably say the aerial would probably be best. Definitely elevation. Are you talking like maybe 5 foot within the court or something?
Sure, just having, you know, like a large spotlight on the sides, just flooding the area, that area.
It'd be great for a sport like banks or something, but I don't think for volleyball, just because of the height of the actual sport itself. I don't know that it would be conducive. It definitely could be something that you can go for with, like I said, bags or horseshoes, other different things like that. But honestly, I think it was really nice of you guys to be able to pass the bistro lighting part, where we could submit that. We put bistro lighting in just recently as well upon approval. And that's done a really nice job with keeping the light under 10 feet as well. And a lot softer was said. So there's been some good stuff for that. This is just more sport specific is what I would say.
You just don't have them set higher than 10 feet, that's all.
We've got partial lights there, but they're just, it's the number one complaint from our players. And we try and make an experience for it. And
Our concern is that that doesn't become the number one complaint to your neighbors.
correct.
So-
No, and I understand that. What
Yeah.
I was going to kind of say is, you know, it sounds like, one, it's not the light that they're worried about. It's not like anything else from what the alderman said specifically. It's actually about the noise.
Which the lights will expand the use of the property, which it's all tied together.
Extend the noise.
You have a less.
Volleyball is going to happen no matter what. So the noise is going to be there no matter what. Just saying.
Additional noise, though, because of the lighting, more
The better
potential players.
the better the facilities, the more they're going to be used. I mean, that there's a reason you're doing it.
So is there a cap then to this specific location would be my question to you guys as a whole. When we are developing this as a space for business and enjoyment and leisure, I don't want to get into what Franklin has, which is the rock complex right now, and doing that kind of style because they're getting quite a lot. And I want to be mindful.
Yeah, that's a completely unrelated animal. I mean, you got two communities fighting.
I'm not saying it's apples to apples. What I'm saying though is that it's something that's happening within earshot, and I want to be mindful because that space is a passion of ours, and we've been doing a lot of fun things there. And I think that it is something that the neighborhoods have been able to rally around and be part of. And we want to continue to have it grow. We want it to be a space that Muskego goes to.
And we want you to peacefully coexist and be successful. We just have to be, there's a balancing act when you're in a neighborhood, at least from my opinion. So
I guess I'm not understanding why we can't control the lights. I mean, we do it in the past, we do it everywhere. Why can't those lights be more controlled and eliminate the spillage over on
You're
the east?
absolutely right. We can control. It's not going to get passed now because I've got to go get photometrics. And by August, we're done with volleyball season, and we'll talk about this next year kind of thing. And that's what I'm saying specifically. And it's no disrespect. It's just telling you, I get that part of it, but now I've got to go to get those photometrics because it's a very important part to make sure that the candlelight doesn't go over. So that's why I say, like, if it's not approved today, hey guys, at volleyball, didn't get approved. I have to go back with a better plan in March or April to make sure that it's more cohesive, and then maybe we'll have lights next year.
Yeah, 2025 plan sounds like the best option.
Yeah.
At least I get to blame it on the government.
Is there a way you could do like a temporary?
I asked about temporary lights as well.
Just to see how it would react with the residents.
We've talked with Sunbelt and we've talked about specific on that one, but that again, and I got it too, I need to submit photometrics for that. They've got to be directed in a very specific light. We were gonna go and try and adhere to noise wise, and it was gonna be all solar powered and everything like that. We can go and get those things, but at the end of the day, where are you gonna park it? Am I gonna be able to get Sunbelt to park it on the east side within all these trucks or all the trees? No, they're gonna have to park it over pretty much, and now it's directed back to the east, which is gonna definitely cause light disturbance to our neighbors. Again, not wanting to be that neighbor. That was kind of an option that we went through, but I don't think it's a viable one.
Have you looked into the different type of light fixture that's not so much of a spotlight, but more of a, again, a recreational area light that's specific for that?
Specifically is, so it goes through commercial LED lights. They do a really great job. Gentlemen that I've been working with, this is one of the best ones for what we propose, which is a single beam light that would go to both courts. There are obviously the different ones that we were talking about, the 90-degree angle that you would have to separate, and you'd have to have now instead of
Probably
24 foot, you're probably looking at 2, if not more, just to make sure that 90 degrees is on points. So
And it would take it something like that is definitely more expensive.
everything, yeah. I mean, now you're doubling the cost of it. You got to make sure that we're running the electric correctly, all those kind of things. It's not just the cost of the lights, it's the cost of doing it right. And that's what we're kind of trying to make sure we do, so that once we do it right, you guys are happy with it, and hopefully our group around us, all of our neighborhood is happy too.
All right, thank you. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I'd be willing to support the idea that we offer up a 3-month
Approve it.
opportunity.
So if you approve it as is.
But he takes the risk.
Yeah, he can decide what he wants to do with
Now
it.
we're gonna get resident feedback, and then you'll know where you stand on probably sound by that time, because I think that'll be an issue. And obviously lighting.
Did I say so?
Yeah.
If we did that, we got resident feedback. I assume it'd come back to the planning commission and to approve it.
Automatically, it will come back in 90 days.
And then would he or be able to give the opportunity to make it work based by landscaping?
That's typically how it works, yes.
Is it something that,
I mean, yes, but we're still dealing with noise in a space that's, you've grown at least 4 to 5x from what it was 3 years ago. I
So-
don't know that we're ever not.
So what's in front of us today is this. If we approve this, what he does with it is up to him, and the results of it might not be what he wants, but I mean, we're being asked to approve what's in front of us. I would say,
And I just say there's risk on your part.
as long as you're aware,
Yeah.
you know, there's,
I would say to table it for another time, just because there's so many variables here that, I don't know, I'm concerned about the property to the north. Again, I understand the master plan of what's gonna go on with that, but we don't know that's gonna happen. I mean, we have to kind of understand what's happening right now at this moment, not what's gonna happen in the future. So I just don't wanna make neighbors mad.
fair enough.
so my opinion is we're referring to light today, and there's gonna be a sound issue. The more people are gonna be out there, more sound. That's not what this is about today.
Correct.
So if there's complaints from the neighbors about sound, then that can be addressed at that point. What's the next plan?
Well, indirectly it is, because we're approving a building site operation plan. So if this impacts other things, that's why we look at these things. So sound and all that can be put into consideration. That's up to each of you, how you want to decide on that, but that's where we're at. Is there any more discussion on this?
Nope.
Roll call vote.
One point.
Yeah.
Then we're making the assumption that if we take it as is, as it's currently presented, we're making the assumption that we're allowing the residents to immediately feed back to us. If we don't put it on the, if we don't put an amendment in for a 90-day review.
It's already built into it.
Oh, it's already built in. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Okay, very good.
So you have a 9:30 hard cutoff time.
Yes, sir. Can we say 9:30 on Monday, Sunday to Thursday, and Friday, Saturday until 10:30 with noise specifically, but we don't operate off that.
Good.
We don't operate past, I should say. I don't want to be up past 10. They should have been.
Yeah, it's in
Okay,
review.
Yeah, okay. All right, roll call vote.
Commissioner Groff,
Approved.
Commissioner Oliver,
approved.
Alderman Kubaki,
Approved.
Commissioner Cieslak,
Approved.
Mayor Pafalski.
Yes.
That is approved 5-0.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Resolution PC 039, 2024, approval of a building site and operation plan for Tractor Supply Company located on vacant land between Aurora Healthcare and Dollar Tree, tax key number 2167995128.
Move to approve.
Second,
Discussion, Aaron, what do we got coming?
One second here. Okay. Submittal was received for a Tractor Supply Company located between the Dollar Tree and the Aurora Health Building at the corner of Moreland Road and Janesville Road. The building itself, the Tractor Supply facade sticks out towards the south from Aurora approximately 6 feet, and then Dollar Tree about 15 feet. So it's not a flat storefront of the complex. So it offers some depth. The building is approximately 21,900 square feet with an outdoor display area approximately 19,000 square feet also. The building would be a mix of two-tone, earth tone brick veneers. And then the front would have two bronze standing seam metal awnings on either side with a stone veneer column between. The same stone veneer would be at the corners of the building as well. The front entryway does stick out towards the parking area. That would be an EIFS material painted to match the building with a standing seam metal hip roof canopy structure above the entry door that matches the storefronts of everyone else in the complex and offers the Craftsman and Prairie style architecture required in the design guide. The side adjacent to the Aurora building and the back of the building would just be painted CMU block because they won't be visible. The building would be 4 feet away from the Aurora building, so there would be a wall built between the Tractor Supply and the Aurora building that would match the front of the building. We added that, just to make sure that between that column on the corner and the Aurora building and that 4-foot wall, connector wall, be the same materials as the front of the building, so it looks cohesive before that CMU block behind. And then there's an outdoors display area between the new structure and the Dollar Tree. That would have a 4-foot stone veneer wall in front of it with a black aluminum tube fence being 16 feet in height. And again, here we're talking about the return to the Dollar Tree, where there's that 15-foot return. And that would have to have the same materials as the front of the facade with that stone veneer and fence. The back of the display area would be the same black tube fence, but it would have pre-finished metal panels, so it would screen everything behind where you wouldn't be able to see through the display area. The colors would be a mixture of browns and tans with a reddish brown band over the doorway. It's going to have a flat roof with parapet walls. The parapet walls will be 24 feet in height, with the top of the bronze roof being 30 feet in height. And then in front of the store, there's 2 proposed outdoor display areas that would have that same 4-foot stone veneer wall in front of it. So anything outside wouldn't be, it's not going to screen everything, but everything 4 feet and up would be visible. But 4 feet and down would be screened. As far as the site, the whole site, or this property actually includes that stormwater detention pond and the utility area and the internal roads. As you can see on the plan, there's a proposed outlot here. So we're saying that in the resolution, it's identified that a certified survey map is required to separate the Tractor Supply property from everything else. The site is pad ready, has access from Janesville Road and Moreland Road. The parking and the whole parking area that would be developed would match the parking in front of Dollar Tree and Kohl's as far as landscape islands and landscaping itself. Drive aisles, all the parking areas, you'd be a continuous parking lot. They are proposing 96 new parking stalls with 3 stalls towards the rear for vehicles and trailers. Now, the code requires 1 space for every 150 square feet of customer area, so the building would require 103 parking stalls, but the complex, so there are 7 stalls short, but the complex as a whole would have ample parking for those to make up for those 7 that they're short. There is a pedestrian sidewalk that goes in front of Kohl's and Dollar Tree and the Aurora building, so that walkway would continue through, separate from the outdoor display area. So there'd be the building, the outdoor display area, and then the walkway before the drive aisle. The site is subject to fire department approval when building permits are obtained. There is a dumpster enclosure that is proposed behind the building. That dumpster enclosure would match the materials built or for the building. One thing to note here in the outdoor storage, though, even though there's outdoor storage allowed in those 2 defined areas in front, should probably show them better on here. These 2 outdoor areas in front of the store, there would not be any other outdoor storage allowed, whether it be in front of that outdoor display area to the east or behind the building. No other outdoor storage would be allowed there. A landscaping plan was submitted, a preliminary plan. It's just going to match all the landscaping of the rest of the complex. So it'd look like a cohesive development. Along with the lighting, there's 2 signs proposed, but those would have to be reviewed with a separate sign permit. As far as the stormwater, sewer, and grading, I mean, the site's ready to go. There might be some minor grading that's necessary, but other than that, this appears to meet the other buildings, meets the design guides, would create a building, a new structure that would fit in with the rest of the buildings in the center. So we are recommending approval, subject to any changes that the planning commission may see for the architecture, dealing with the Moreland South Design Guide.
Thank you. Comments from the,
The outside storage in front of the building, do you know what would be in that and how they're going to be filling that? My concern is safety, if there's going to be forklifts and or trucks in the front doing any loading in that area.
No, I'm not positive, but I was just at the Tractor Supply in Muskego, and it was basically, I think mowers, small
Handheld.
small
walk-in.
handheld or
Okay.
walk behind.
they'll walk behind, still have, right, maybe a rider mower,
Right.
wheelbarrows.
Mhm.
that type
Okay.
of stuff.
I don't recall seeing any loads, on palletized loads or anything like that. Not that I recall.
Okay.
Not the one, at least not the one in the
There's
Rapids.
a lot
Right.
of, a lot of traffic at 2 other abutting businesses, 3 other
Right.
abutting businesses.
Yep.
My concern.
The only thing I would say is that, the front of the building is a very nice design. We have those awnings up front. It just, to me, just screams for some windows underneath there or something that looks like a window. It just, the elevation is kind of very flat, but if you kind of look at the perspective, it's really, that wall looks very blank, even though there's kind of awnings above it. Is there any way we can put windows below those awnings? There's 2 awnings in each side of the main entrance. Or something that represents a window to kind of, increase
You did that for
the
LC
street presence
storage.
of that a little bit more, people walking, up to it and, across it, going from business to business.
LC Storage did that on Durham over there.
Yeah.
Fake windows. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where the windows should go. They're just not there. And it looks to me a little odd. So,
Gentlemen, are you the petitioners? Yes. Would you like to step forward and maybe react to?
If I could add, Tractor Supply has worked with staff an awful lot in revising plans and with different feedback. They've been really decent to work with, a joy to work with as far as taking concerns and modifying plans.
I can echo that. Adam's pretty much said everything good about you guys. So.
My name's Will Plisky. I'm the developer, and this is Lee Morset. He's architect.
Right.
Your question regarding
So in the
display,
so you have these awnings here.
Yes.
And the commissioner thought that either adding like some kind of, they have like these fake window things that makes it look like there's a window there, because right now it looks like there should be something there and it's just missing. Thoughts? Is that something
that's something we could look at. We've done like barn doors.
Yeah, we've done,
Underneath.
we could put faux shutters on the building because it's a Tractor Supply.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or, yeah, we could investigate putting faux windows on the front. I know that when they display on that wall, some of those windows are, some of that product probably be 6 feet tall, so you're only blocking the window. So.
Yeah, I don't think a real window would
No.
be
I don't think
attractive.
I don't think
I think you're talking about displaying on the inside to be seen through. Is that, no?
No, on the outside.
Outside
Yeah,
product.
so they could have.
yeah, I would understand that, you probably have displays that are on that wall that you really, but, maybe could you do like spandrel glass or something, storefront with spandrel glass or something like that on there? To make it kind of look like maybe the entrance framing for the windows and
It
things
could
like
be
that.
tinted glass.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it would look dark, but
Yeah.
Of course, you're not going to see through it because behind it, it's going to be a
Right,
solid wall.
right.
Yeah, we could.
Just,
we could
just a
look at
thought.
doing
It's
something.
just,
I agree with you. The awnings kind of scream question mark.
right.
They're
like-
there to break it up, but then
Right.
they don't, they're not really shading anything.
Correct.
The
yeah.
wall.
Yeah, they're there mainly to protect the product that's going underneath,
Oh, okay.
you know, from some
Rain.
of the elements.
Sure.
So it actually had a purpose. Very cool.
Yeah, there you go.
That was the purpose, yeah.
Who knew?
I think like the Dollar Tree next door has some of that storefront in the front, you know, so you can, but there they actually can see through some of it. But I know here, you know, it's not going to be operable. It's just going to be to kind of, you know, help with the look at the front of the building and to kind of give some definition to those awnings. So,
Yeah, I mean, we could look at doing something like that.
Are you comfortable with them just working with staff on something?
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, similar.
Absolutely.
Any other?
Pretty minor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
and
nice.
that's a great
Yeah,
submittal.
nice
It's a good
plan. Very nice.
building,
Yep.
so,
You got to thank him.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, any other questions?
Nope.
All those in, need a motion, do you need, just make a motion to amend, to work with staff on adding some architectural elements below make the motion, how you want to word it.
Yeah, just to add some window elements below the awnings that are proposed.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to amend? All those in favor of the motion to amend, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to amend is fine. Anything else? All those in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
All
Aye.
right.
Opposed? It's approved.
Okay.
Thank you.
All set.
Gentlemen.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Nice job.
What's touchdown? What's the touchdown time?
Oh, it all depends on when we submit the plans and how long the state takes to review.
Okay.
It takes like 2 at once sometimes.
They have expedited ways of doing that too, if you want,
Yeah.
but but that's about normal, yeah.
Yeah, so we hope to open up, you know, some time to probably within the next years.
Okay. All right.
We're excited to
Great.
see you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, any miscellaneous business? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We're adjourned at 7:05.